I found my husband on a gay dating platform. I found him on this app pretty easily and I don't know how to approach the subject with him.
My worry for you is that there's so many levels to this, not just the emotional infidelity. There's physical complications that can arise. And I don't think it's something that you should be trying to navigate on your own because of the shame of something that he has done. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany.
And this is Ask Uncut, where we answer your deep, your dark, and all of your burning questions.
Guys, I did something on the weekend that I couldn't wait to tell you about, and I've deliberately kept it for the podcast because I went to a hens party and we had a really nice, lovely lunch, and we went back to one of the girls' houses for what I thought was going to be like the game segment, and I thought it was just going to be drinks at their house and then we would kind of mosey our way home around dinner time. It was at the house that I found out we were going to one of the Magic Men shows.
Magic Mike? Magic Men?
Magic Men, it's called here.
Okay, didn't know.
It's exactly what you think it is. It's exactly a Magic Mike show, but it's called Magic Men.
It's
here in
copyright
Sydney,
thing.
right?
It's copyright.
Is it in King's Cross?
Yes.
I think I've been to that one. It's so dingy and you just sit on plastic seats. Is it that one?
Ew.
Look, there were foldable chairs, and I don't
Yeah.
want to shit on anyone's parade because there were hundreds of women who were having like the best nights of their life. There were so many hens parties. There were divorce parties. There were birthdays. There were also people who were just there because it was a Saturday. Like, great for you. But the concept of like a strip show, it's never been like my thing, right? I'm not really one of those people. I mean, maybe it's because I'm half British. We're just like not ostentatious people, right?
I don't think it's anyone's thing. I don't think anyone went there because they're like, I love to go to the strip. Like,
I can tell you that there were definitely people there who would not have that opinion.
really?
But this thing happened on stage and I just wanted to get your take, and it's kind of related to what I just spoke about, wearing a bodysuit. Because there were all different types of men. I feel like they really tried to kind of do the whole, like, if you're into someone who's South American, we've got that. If you're into the tatted up guy, we've got that. If you're into the clean cut, like gym going blonde guy, we've also got that.
Like, we're inclusive strippers.
Totally.
Got it.
Different ages, different ethnicities. Like, they really tried to check a couple boxes. But the one thing that I just could not get past is that some of them stripped down to having, like, we saw actual penises, peni. We've gone over the plural of peni before. I saw 2 or 3 and I saw at least 4 sets of balls. So we're talking like naked.
Proper strip.
Except for,
You didn't take a photo, did you?
yeah, you were allowed to take photos and videos of the whole thing.
Yeah, I've not been. I was shitting on it, but I went like literally 15 years ago,
You're
so
allowed
I
to
don't
take
have a
photos?
good reference point for this. That's how long ago it was.
So guys, no matter how naked the men on the stage got, the 2 things that none of them took off
Socks.
were knee pads and shoes.
Oh my God. So they're just naked with shoes on.
It was the knee pads. The shoes didn't bother me as much. It's the knee pads that absolutely spun me out because they were dancing and stuff, right? So they're kind of like, I get why they want knee pads on.
Because they're sliding on the floor.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, there's been times I wish I had knee pads just alone at home. I'm like, this is...
They're not sexy.
No, they don't have to be sexy, but they're practical. I'm like, wow, this is not a position for my knees.
I guess when you think through the logistics of stripping off your knee pads, there's something particularly unsexy about that. Probably better to keep them on.
So imagine taking the knee pad off and
ripping your pants off and then taking the knee pad off doesn't really it doesn't add to the allure.
To me, I was just surprised that it, like, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze of having to endure a little bit of knee pain for the times that you were on your knees to have your whole, like, the stripping the pants off motion happened many times. It doesn't have the same effect when you're stripping to a knee pad.
I don't know. I'm getting like a feeling that maybe Keeshia wanted to see more knees.
She sounds a
Is
lot
this how
like
I
your
find out I
ex.
got a knee kink?
Yeah, it's like your ex. Oh, speaking of strippers, this is funny. I said to Ben the other day, I was like, oh, Ben, I've got some news that you're going to be happy about. And he's like, what? And I said, well, fake Channing Tatum is unfortunately busy. And
He is,
I was like, he won't be
unfortunate.
coming to my hens. And I thought you'd be happy about that. He's like, yeah, babe, I already know that. And I was like, how did you know that? He's like, because I booked him out for the month.
He's the one that booked the tour over
He goes, he goes, poor guy's going to be shocked when he realizes he doesn't actually have any shows to perform at.
Well, Britt, I've got some good news for you. If you'd like any of there were about 10 of the magic men that performed at the Sydney show, you can have them at your hens party, but they will have knee pads on.
Knee pads do not do it for me. I'm happy to go strip free. I
Can
am
ask
stripper
it, like,
free.
do you guys agree with me? Do you find that the knee pads take away from the sexiness?
I'm not there for the sexiness. I would have been there for the laughing because the hens party made me go. So it doesn't take anything away from me.
Yeah, there's no part of me that feels robbed by not being able to see bare knee.
Keisha's going to write in a complaint. She's like, free the knee.
Keisha's been hard done by, wants a refund.
I want proper nudity. No, like, you know what? It actually was a really fun experience because we were there with a group of people. It's not like that type of thing is not my normal type of thing, but I did have a great time. I don't know what the word would be. There were moments where I was like, whoa, there is so much. It's actually the most overstimulated I think I have ever been in every sense of the word.
I don't think you should say overstimulated when you're talking about the strippers with the knees.
I would just like to point out how much we've been talking about strippers
Yeah.
on the beginning of episodes recently.
Yeah, but we're done now.
Okay, this is the line. This is the line in
Well,
the
no
sand.
one's, I mean, Fake Channing Tatum's gone. No one else is going to a strip club anytime soon, I think. I don't think.
I mean, it's my birthday. I might.
If you want. I'm a supportive friend. If you want, I will go with you.
All right, let's get into vibes and unsubscribes, guys. What's your vibe for the week, Britt?
My vibe, there'll be loads of people that have read this, loads of people that haven't read this. It's a Colleen Hoover book, Verity. Now, I know Colleen Hoover is like the hot topic, but I hadn't read Verity and I'd read some of her other books. But the reason I want to recommend this one is because I did see that it is currently being made into a movie now. And I love to read books before the movie comes out. Generally speaking, I think books are always better than film adaptations or TV series and things like that. So the film is being made actually with Anne Hathaway and Dakota Johnson in it. She's from 50 Shades of Grey. Also has Josh Hartnett in it. He has been making a resurgence lately.
He was great. What was he in?
He was like the young heartthrob. He disappeared for about 20 years and he just came back in a Netflix film like 6 months ago. This is him now. Look, that's an aged Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, but what was his biggest thing back in the day when we were all in love
One
with
of
him?
those love teen rom-coms.
Oh, he was in Black Hawk Down.
Oh, that's right.
He's in lots of things, not just love things. Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down.
He was in a terrible film on Netflix a couple of months ago that I watched where like there's like a bomb threat in a concert. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was really bad. Don't watch it.
Great comeback.
But basically the book's a thriller. It's a love story and a thriller. It has a really good twist in it and I really, really enjoyed it. It's the first book I've read in a while that I got really sucked in and didn't want to put it down. So it's Verity, Colleen Hoover.
Amazing.
Liz, what's your vibe for the week?
Mine is very kid specific. So if you have little kids, it's something that you might want to look into. And if you don't, then just skip ahead because you won't care at all. It's called a Yoto. So it's a Yoto play up. We were given it for Christmas from my sister-in-law for the girls. We've got 2 of them. And it's taken me almost 4 months to set it up, which would come as no surprise to anyone. So it was only after like quite a bit of reminding from her that I was like, oh, I will give it a go. And actually it's fantastic. So
Reminding from her, she's like, hey, you going to ever use that present I bought you?
because they're not super cheap. They range between $130 to $169.
Yeah.
And what they are is they're little audio players. So if you want your kids to spend more time, like if you need them to be doing activities or you want time in the car or whatever, but you don't want your kids on a screen and you don't want your kids having access to a camera or a microphone, which is mostly on most tablets, then a Yoto is like the perfect thing for them. It is specifically made for little kids, so anywhere between ages sort of 2 to 9. And you get individual cards that have different audio books or different music on it that they can then select because it's intuitive enough that the kids can choose and navigate through different audio books themselves.
So like books, not songs.
Books or songs. There's heaps of things. Like you can buy so many different kinds of cards and they can choose those cards and then kind of like figure out their own activities that they want to do on them.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I love it because firstly we do really long car trips and it means that I don't have the kids in the back with iPads at all or like I
Do
don't
they
have
put headphones on?
Yeah, they have headphones on. Everything is appropriate for the age of which the card is that you've bought, so you know exactly what's on it.
You don't have to worry it and monitor it.
And also things like the headphones themselves are specifically created for little kids' ears, so they only go up to the volumes that's appropriate for child hearing so that you're not doing damage to their hearing by having them use headphones that can go up really loud because these are all things that you can't monitor if you've got kids in the back seat on a tablet or an iPad or doing something like that.
And you can't monitor if it goes onto some weird ad that's, and they accidentally click on something else.
Totally.
And it goes to something that they shouldn't be watching.
And they're really good stories. Like, I think the problem with a lot of these audiobooks is that the stories are naff and then the kids don't really enjoy it anyway. But there's like Disney ones that you can choose from. So like Disney actually creates Yotos. You can, pick like Willy Wonka. You could pick Matilda. Like, there's great stories that have all been created in these little mini audiobooks. So it's called a Yoto. There's a mini one and a larger version of it. But we have a mini one and a larger. That's what we kind of got for Christmas. And from what I can tell, the mini does everything that the larger does. The larger is just probably a little bit easier to navigate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my recommendation.
My vibe for this week is a beauty product. It is something that I had seen. It was kind of one of those ones that like a lot of influencers did advertising for, and I got sucked into it. But I actually will admit it's a pretty great product. It's the Maybelline Superstay Teddy Tint Lipstick, and I have it in the shade Skinny Dip. So it's one of those ones that's like, it's quite matte and it goes on and you can use it on your lips, your cheeks. It's one of those kind of like
multi-use.
Yeah, eyeshadow, I guess you could use it for as well.
It's a lip stain?
Yeah, it's kind of in between. It's in between a stain and a really long stay lipstick. So what I like about it is that it's really cheap. I got it from Chemist Warehouse for $16. I think the retail is $27. So you can get it from like a bunch of different places online, but it stays on for the entire day. So I had it on when we went to the F1. I've had it on for a couple of days at work and I get home and I'm like, oh, it's still there. Who would have thought? It's a little bit drying. So like it's not perfect, but I think for any of your long wear products, they can be a little bit drying when they're on, particularly if I have it on my cheeks, like because I like a dewy kind of feel, but I will give it credit for $16. It's a really, really good product. So I have been using the Maybelline Superstay Teddy Tint Lipstick for a couple of weeks now.
So that 10 times fast.
Yeah, it's a bit of a complex one, but
yeah, good one.
Yeah, I back it. I think it's, there's a lot of products that are of a similar type of thing, but most of them I've seen for about $65 to even upwards of $90. So I think the price for how well this one works is why it's my recommendation.
Well, let's get into the questions.
Question 1. Super contentious, girls. Also ridiculous. Between my husband and I, we argue about this all the time. 4 years on, and we still can't agree. He hates me walking inside with my shoes on. Yet on every other day, we are barefoot outside walking around for hours without shoes. Then he will walk through the house, no worries at all. Is this a double standard? I think wearing bare feet then walking inside is worse. We are fine just agreeing to disagree at this point, but he also loves listening to us Uncut, so I hope that he hears whatever you say.
Hello, dear listener.
This is a really interesting one.
Have you seen the Instagram like reels going around, which is like, here is the bucket of water after washing a floor when people wear shoes in the house, and here is the color of it after washing the floors of a house when someone wears shoes versus doesn't wear shoes. And it's like in the house where people wear shoes, the bucket of water is black, like it is filthy. And in the opposite, where people don't wear shoes in the house, it is like almost the same color as when it started, like a little bit milky maybe.
Yeah, that's not shocking, but I think what the problem is here is he's saying don't wear your shoes outside and then inside, but he can wear his bare feet outside and inside.
That's a double standard, obviously.
It's
You've
the
got to
same
have
thing.
outdoor shoes and indoor shoes. You've got to have your little slippers that you put on when you get inside if you've got filthy feet.
I think walking around barefoot is disgusting. That's my personal opinion.
I love it.
You know why? Because there's so much stuff. Think of how many people walk down the street and just golly on the street. People wee on the street. Dogs wee on the street. There are so many disgusting things on the ground that you are walking in. Like, I personally don't want – I care. I don't want to walk in spit, vomit and dog wee, do you?
I was about to say I'm not licking the bottom of my feet, but I did just
literally
open
just
my drink bottle 2 seconds ago. You guys asked me to, so I did it.
Oh,
I opened my drink bottle with my feet to prove that I can do a lot of stuff with my feet. I like to be grounded. I like to have my shoes off. I like to be on the pavement or on Mother Earth. I'm also like kind of like I'm like weirdly smug about the fact that I have like such strong feet that I could pretty much walk on anything that doesn't hurt. Whereas Matt's always like, oh, ow, oh, ow.
No, but see, I think it's fine when you – I mean, I grew up outside with bare feet. Having said that, I will explore. I will go to the beach. I will climb a tree. But now as an adult, if I just had to walk up to the shops from my house, I'm putting shoes on. But if I'm at the beach and I'm just walking around the pebbles, like that's fine. But I think like getting around, going into supermarkets with no shoes on, sorry, in my eyes, Gross.
I agree. I'm only in the wilderness with no shoes, around the beach and stuff.
When are you in the wilderness? Bear Grylls.
Just joking. But I once dated a guy he was very Bondi. He was very hipster. And he had no qualms with just leaving the house without a plan with no shoes on. So we might have a plan. Like we might be going to a cafe. Who knows what we're going to do after that? Go to the beach. Maybe we might end up at the grocery store. He would happily leave the house
For the whole day.
no shoes without having any concept of time as to when he was going to be able to access those shoes again.
No.
And it gave me the biggest ick I've ever had. And it was
Yeah.
when we walked into a cafe, like we decided we wanted to go and get like lunch or brunch or something, and he had no shoes on. And I was like, so what do? Do we just sit outside because
we're not allowed in?
Because you've made the active decision to leave your home without a normal pair of shoes? Like that's wild.
Ben is the first person I have met that has a proper indoor pair of shoes. So they're at the door. They're his inside shoes. And I remember when I first came over to his house, he was like, babe, shoes. I was like, what? He's like, you got to take your shoes off. Put your indoor shoes on. I was like, I don't have indoor shoes. He's like, I'll get you a pair. He had backup indoor shoes. So he has socks and indoor shoes all the time. And then he has his outdoor shoes. And he will not contaminate the two.
Yeah,
But it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's weirdly organized, and I don't think I have that in me, but like I get it. Okay, let's get back to the question. Is it a double standard? Absolutely. If he has a problem with you wearing your shoes in the house, he can't walk around outside for 4 hours, then come inside and walk through the house. It's probably a situation where you need to have a conversation with him where it's like, well, look, if you've been outside all day with no shoes on, go and wash your fucking stinky ass black feet. You can't just walk through the house and expect me not to wear my shoes. I live in a house with Matt who wears his shoes all the time. He will wear his joggers. It doesn't matter where, but he wears them out and then he wears them all through the house. And like to the point where there are literal footprints of shoe marks in our house. And I know that when I wash the floors are completely black. So like I hate it. I hate shoes in a house. I think it's not appropriate.
I try not to. I will say sometimes I'm a bit lax. Like sometimes my hands are full or whatever. I'll run in, I'll have my shoes on for like 10 minutes and then I'm like, ew, gross, take them off. But when you think about it, like if you tested the bottom of your shoes, there would be poo particles on there. There would be wee particles on there. There'd be probably drugs on there. There'd be like all sorts of... Keesh, you can't be confused. 100% there are.
Of course there are, but like there's germs everywhere. You know, like how are we supposed to build up a resistance or a bit of a tolerance to some bacteria and some bugs?
Not by bringing outside poo into your house. That's not how we build resistance.
To be
you
fair,
put your toothbrush in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, it's got poo particles all over it, but they're mine.
To be fair, back in the day, now that Lola's off her dummy and all, I would have dropped her dummy in the street and picked it up and given it back to her. Like not a rinse, not a wipe, just whatever. You're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine. The kid licks the floor. The dummy's not going to be the thing that kills her.
And that's my point. The kid licks the floor. This is why you can't be walking outdoor shoes in.
Outside, she'll lick the pavement. The things I have seen.
Wait, why is she licking the pavement?
Hang on, it's Lola, isn't it? It's definitely not Marley. It's Lola.
The things I have seen that kid put in her mouth, just like ambiently pick it up off the ground and put it in her mouth. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Anyway, I would love to poll this because I would love to know if you're an shoes inside the house or shoes outside the house kind of family. But I think in the instance of this question, yes, it is a double standard. And yes, it's okay that he has these rules, but he's got to follow them too.
Hundy.
All right, question number 2. One of our best friends has gotten into a new relationship of about 6 months and is head over heels for this guy. She's never been happier, so she says. That's such a sly thing. So she says.
It's because of what she's about to tell you.
She has always been the girl in long-term relationships, and her last long-term boyfriend was really toxic as hell and really ripped her friendships apart. Regardless of who she is with, she is very defensive of them. But once she breaks up with the boyfriend, she admits everything and always tells us how bad it was. She recently told us on a girls' weekend that her new boyfriend has not and will not go down on her. He also will not kiss with tongue. When we questioned why, she said, well, he's just got this super weird hygiene thing. He also doesn't like shoes in the house. Yet he's obsessed with her feet. We asked if he could try, and she said he flat out refuses to do it. Our question is this normal? We get that there are always certain things people do not like doing in the bedroom, but the fact that he flat out refuses to even try and going down on her concerns us. In her previous relationship, she was very kinky and loved her sex life, but now she makes concerning comments like they only do it once a week or rarely, and she is always keen for him to leave for work so she can use her vibrator. Keep in mind, she's only 25. life with no responsibilities. I like that she's
What is
just
the responsibility?
she's just
to do
at
with anything?
home using a vibrator all day.
She doesn't work. She just
Fucking good for
vibrates.
you, girl.
This is an unusual one. We've often had these questions come in that say like, oh, my partner doesn't love going down on me, or I don't love going down on my partner. But I don't think we've ever received a question that is he doesn't like to kiss without tongue.
He obviously like
that's like second base.
yeah. No, but yes, I agree. It is second base, but he has a very weird.
That's first base. Sorry, I don't even know my bases.
He has a very weird and specific, probably sensory thing around specific hygiene stuff. Because if he like doesn't want to go down on someone, doesn't want to open mouth kiss,
Seems like it's the moistness.
yeah, he doesn't like the feeling of something, but he's cool with your feet.
It can't be. It's not generic hygiene.
It's not hygiene
because he loves feet, and feet are not hygienic.
I think it's got to do with like the wetness of it, the texture, the feeling.
It's hard because it's also not you writing the question. Like you're upset for your friend that she's not getting licked out. But that is the sign of a good friend. Like the fact that this has upset you enough to write into us in hope that she hears it is like, you are the kind of friend we need in our life.
I wish my friends cared if I was getting eaten out or not.
I
You
always
guys
ask
have
you.
never asked me.
I always ask you.
Not for a while.
I don't want to know.
Do you know what I was just thinking? And I can't picture it for some reason.
Matt ever going down on me?
No. Do you and Matt still make out with tongue?
Yeah, of course.
Do you?
When?
Not in front of you, Keish.
Do you?
No, but like,
do
is it
tongue?
only before sex?
Not only before sex.
Do you have make-out sessions that are spontaneous, like in the kitchen or something? Like just make out?
Yeah,
Like with
but
tongue?
then sometimes it will turn into sex. So like sometimes I have to time it. So
You
like,
make out without it turning into sex. Am I doing it wrong?
sometimes.
Do you not just make out with tongue?
No.
It often.
Okay, no, sorry. I need to read the room here because Britt's in a long distance relationship. So yours is less like
Oh yeah,
the
you're-
times you guys
totally.
see each other, I can imagine that you would make out.
Oh, we make out all the time. It doesn't have to be sex.
Yours is different though because you don't see each other enough. So therefore, like, as in, like, you don't see each other every single day. So you when you see each other, you will make out all the time. Like
Yeah.
when Matt and I were, if we've been away from each other for a long time, of course. Yeah, but like not on the reg. I'm not making out with him with tongue every single day and then it not eventuating into sex. The reality is that most of the time it will eventuate into sex.
Like if the tongue slips in,
But
you're like,
like-
oh, it's on.
yeah, like he'll give me like a lovely kiss, like without it being anything. I might be on my way to work or
But
like,
not
or he'll
just
come
not
home.
just a kiss, like not just a nice kiss. I'm talking like a pash.
Yeah, like a pash.
Oh, I just can't picture
Rather
it.
than I mean, not just a peck.
Maybe I'm doing it really wrong.
So
I could not tell
apparently-
you the last time that we made out without it being
Really? Do you kiss?
all the time.
Just but like a
yeah, like
the
more
peck.
like peck style.
peck style.
Apparently, though, if you kiss for 2 minutes, it's good for your health and good for your relationship.
Yes.
Every day, kiss for 2 minutes. We tried that for a while, but like
2
that
minutes
didn't
is
last.
a long time.
It's as long as you're supposed to brush your teeth for. Sing happy birthday a couple of
Yeah.
times through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway.
I
Sorry.
was going to say it is weird trying to picture your friends doing that kind of stuff. But anyway,
Can I poll this, guys? Can I
Yeah.
ask if everyone's making out without it leading into anything or if I'm maybe
I think we know the
I'm
answer.
really alarmed.
I think we know the answer. Maybe, hey, Keish, can you do a test? Go home tonight, go up to Toblerone and just make out with him. Slip the tongue in and then just walk away. Say, how was your day? Slip the tongue in and then say, I'm just going to get some work done.
She's like, he'll be horrified.
Or he'll drop
probably
his
chase
pants.
after me.
Either he'll be horrified or he'll drop his pants. We need to see what happens.
Okay. All right, I'll do an experiment. Sample size of 1.
He's going to be like, are you okay? What happened?
It is interesting though. At what point do you stop like having just a nice makeout session with your partner because you're in a long-term relationship?
It does happen.
Like when does it go from that to it only being like when you're in bed at nighttime or when you're about to have sex? When does it change?
Well, that's why I asked you because you've been quite long term. You got the kids, so I was like, I wondered if you actually did still just make out.
Yeah, we do sometimes. Can you believe we've almost been together for 8 years? I
Yeah.
feel like the last 8 years of my life has gone so quickly. Crazy.
I think
Crazy.
that's something you should be really proud of that you're still making out after 8 years together.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good egg. I'll keep that one. I don't
Sorry
have any
for the
plans on
distraction.
divorcing him, so
Okay,
that's nice.
well,
I've forgotten
back-
the question.
Back to the question.
Sorry.
Okay, so your friend's not getting licked out. She's not getting any tongue.
She's not getting any make out.
You know what would bother me more actually in this? The kissing would bother me more than if my partner didn't want to kiss me. That would bother me more than him not wanting to go down on me because I feel like there's other ways to stimulate and like have sex and that kind of a
sure.
thing. But for me, the kissing is quite a nice, passionate, intimate top line thing. If he never ever wanted to kiss me with an open mouth, I'd be like, okay, I've either am eating too much garlic or something is wrong.
I would say in this though, like taking the question actually kind of a little bit more seriously, It is so nice that you're concerned, but your concern is probably more than it needs to be. Like your girlfriend is 25. She's going to figure it out whether she wants to actually be with this person or not, whether these are things that she can make concessions with in her relationship. You know, maybe for her, having a guy go down on her is not that important because he makes up for it in XYZ reasons. Like there would be things that she's making allowances for that she's okay with because she likes other things that he brings to the table. And I think sometimes, look, I mean, sometimes the worry of our friends can be completely warranted, and maybe it is, but it doesn't sound like he's toxic. It doesn't sound like he's, you know, abusive or anything else. It just sounds like he has these very unique aversions to things. And you said like she's really into kinky stuff and was in her past relationships. They might still be kinky. You don't know. She may just be a bit of a more private around the things that they do because that might be something he's requested. I don't think it is alarming because I don't think it's alarming unless it is to her. And you may figure that out in the future that it was, or you may, you know, it may be that this guy is just like perfect for her and they're the things that she's happy to, you know, go without.
I do wonder how many people have written this question in, because you do say our question is this normal?
All of the friends are talking about it.
What, this is the group chat. What I do want to say is I don't think it is normal, but I don't think it is abnormal at the same time. Everybody, you know, has a different yum. Everybody likes different things. The kissing is the more abnormal part. I've not heard of that as much as I have heard of people that don't froth oral sex. There are a lot of people that don't like receiving it and or giving it, and I think that is fine. That is up to the person, but you work around it. Definitely less normal for people not to want to make out with their partner. But again, if this is what they're okay with and it's fine in their relationship, it's only an issue if it's an issue. And she's saying it's not an issue. If it turns into a problem, she'll figure it out. She's a grown woman, and if it's not serving her anymore, I'm sure she will deal with that. Like, these issues should only be a problem to you if it's, and I'm not saying this issue in particular, but an issue within a relationship. So if like a partner is constantly complaining about the way her partner treats her or what they do, if your friend is constantly at you for the last year about how shit her partner is, but she doesn't want to change anything, that's when it becomes an issue for you, because it's literally something that's weighing on you. I love how protective you are of your friend, but this is her sex life and it's her thing to figure out.
Well, no, I think it's okay to have worry for your friends' relationships, but you should have worry for things that are alarming, not things that you think are weird. That's the difference. If they were red flags that you say, okay, this is not normal and this really worries me and he's behaving in a way that I think is very suspicious, or it seems controlling or coercive or whatever the thing is, then I would understand the concern. But because you find something weird about someone isn't a good enough reason to have a deep concern about their relationship. And that's okay. They will figure it out. But yeah, I think also, and maybe this is like taking it too seriously because it was a kind of a lighter one, but I think also just be careful with talking so much to a group of friends about how much you dislike someone's boyfriend or how weird you find someone's boyfriend. Because if you guys are really, really close and she finds out that like everyone's been talking like that about her boyfriend, this is a reason why she would be so defensive and so upset. So I think be careful with that, because yeah, it could be that you are the one who ends up being in the wrong because of the way that you're behaving.
All right, question number 3. I'm in serious need of some advice. I can't tell anyone else, so you guys are it. I found my husband on a gay dating platform. I went to look up something in Safari on his phone because mine was upstairs. This is a normal thing to do. But it was there when I clicked onto the app. I didn't know what it was at the time and I just moved past it, but something made me look further into it later that evening. I found him on this app pretty easily and I don't know how to approach the subject with him. P.S. The amount of married men on this platform is insane. It's called Sniffies, which I have never heard of.
I'm Googling it right now.
It's called Sniffies and it's completely anonymous unless someone recognizes the body part posted like I did. So I'm assuming it's like neck down, and if someone has a tattoo or like a piercing or there's something, you know.
Okay, so to give you context, Sniffies is a map-based cruising app for the curious. Sniffies emphasizes cruising as an immersive, interactive experience, making it the hottest app available. For anyone who's not sure what cruising is searching for a sexual partner in a public or semi-public space. It's a term that historically roots as a coded way for gay men to recognize each other and seek out sexual encounters.
Yeah, so I know someone that has cruised, like as an example.
Was it me when I went on the P&O cruise and I called myself a cruiser?
That was very funny. I was like, I don't think you're actually a cruiser. Someone that was like literally was on an app like this. I don't know if it was this same app, but found sex within 10 minutes. It was late at night. They went to like a public bathroom. It was that quick and easy, and it was so transactional, and that's what it is. That's like literally the definition of cruising. Now, you've seen your husband on there. That's a pretty big thing that definitely can't be ignored.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
What you don't know yet, and you will not know unless you talk to him, is you don't know at what level. You don't know if it's an interest. You don't know if he's ever done anything. You don't know if he is gay, if he is bi, if he is
Curious, whatever's going on.
You just don't know at this point. And maybe, he is curious and he's looked but hasn't gone any further, or maybe he has been doing it for a long time. You actually don't know, but you 100% need to know. For me personally, cheating is cheating, whether it's man with a man with a woman with a woman. It doesn't really matter.
I think that this is something, firstly, you said you can't tell anyone. I do think you actually have to tell people, not tell everyone. Don't tell random people. I think you should go and speak to someone and get some sort of professional guidance around it. I think that this is a really, really huge thing that you're dealing with, and it is too big to necessarily deal with in isolation on your own and just with your partner. There's a few things I think you really need to be careful of here. One of them is the fact, obviously have a conversation with him. You need to tell him that you know.
Yeah.
You need to tell him that you found the profile, and you need absolute transparency around this profile. Hopefully, and I don't know how Sniffy's works. I've got no clue because I've not been on there. But hopefully there is like a messenger service or something like that you can see, that you can get more transparency. Because my worry for you is, you found one part of the puzzle. It's going to take a lot for your husband to come forth with the complete and honest truth. Because often when we're caught out in a lie, which he obviously is caught out in a lie regardless, is that people want to minimize the lie. And so they only give enough of it to validate the part that you found, but not the rest of the truth. So I would be worried about getting the full picture from him. The reason why I say this is not because I'm trying to be alarmist, but there is obviously the worry of STIs if he has been cruising, which would be the case no matter who he's having sex with. But I think the problem with this is the anonymity around it. It's the lack of knowing the person that you're meeting in a bush to go and have sex with, or, in a club or whatever it is. The other part of this is that him not being transparent about what he's doing with his own sexual activities means that he may not have the protection in place that he needs. The problem is that if he is in a marriage with children, wanting to seem like the perfect husband, I would very much doubt that he has gone and had an honest conversation with his GP around the fact that he is having casual sex potentially. Also, on top of that, it could also mean that other men, if you say there's loads of husbands on this site doing the same thing, other people could be at exactly the same sort of risk because there's no transparency around it. My worry for you is that there's so many levels to this, not just the emotional infidelity. There's physical complications that can arise. And I don't think it's something that you should be trying to navigate on your own because of the shame of something that he has done in terms of infidelity, not because he's checking out his sexuality. But I think don't carry that shame and stop yourself from getting the help that you need in this instance.
Well, it's just so much deeper than that, isn't it? Because it's one thing to discover that your partner has been unfaithful or potentially unfaithful, but it's another thing to discover that it is with the same sex when you had no idea. And I think it's different if you had had the discussion in the past and maybe he's bi, maybe he has been open and curious before. So maybe that part's not shocking to you. I'm assuming it is just by the way you've written it. But assuming that this is all news to you, I can't imagine what that feels like or what you're navigating right now, thinking that okay, there could be a potential here that my relationship is over, not because of the infidelity, but because he's actually deep down attracted to the same sex, not attracted to me anymore. Now, that's worst case scenario, right? We do not know that and you do not know that. But I would be having this conversation ASAP. This is not something that you should sit on, but I think you need to navigate it very carefully. Personally, I don't think this is an attack, and I caught you out. I think this is a conversation about, hey, we need to talk. Is there anything that you feel like you need to tell me? Give him a bit of an opportunity and then say, look, this is what I have found. We need to talk about it. You need to tell me what is happening inside of you, what you are actually feeling, what you're thinking, what you're battling, because I can only imagine the confusion that he's feeling too. And I'm not saying that to protect him. Obviously, there are some big issues here. He has done the wrong thing, but there's obviously a reason he is hiding it. Maybe it's something he hasn't come to terms with yet. Maybe he's really trying to come to terms with it. Maybe he's not, and there's just a curiosity. A lot of people are curious, but I really feel for you in this situation, but part of me really feels for him as well. If this is something new that he's battling, or if it's something he's been battling a long time, then I only say that because I have people in my own life, I have people in their 70s that I know that are gay and had to fight that their entire life and only really lived their life when they were, you know, in their 50s. And I remember hearing that and it really broke my heart because I was like, wow, like you just weren't able to be who you are. But there's just so many layers to this and so many people that this will affect.
I guess for me, I kind of feel as though my knee-jerk reaction to this and the feeling I have after reading your question is that I don't give him so much the benefit of the doubt that it's just curiosity. And the reason why I say that really comes down to how detailed is his profile filled out. Because if he has gone to the effort of uploading very intimate body parts, as you said, you identified your husband because of body parts that he has uploaded, photos of him. If the profile is filled out in a way that seems considered, that seems like it was an intentional thing, I would understand it if he just had a profile, but it wasn't really filled out and maybe he was just looking.
These profiles aren't filled out. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's a picture. Half of them don't say anything. There's like a location. Like some of them don't even say a word because it is so top line transactional that it's just your picture and I think it's just your age as well. You're supposed to put your age on, but then it's genuinely nothing.
But even a picture, you don't have to upload a picture. Like you don't have to upload anything. For me, it's like there's a level of effort that goes into that. I feel as though if you're going to go to the effort of having a Sniffies account, of putting pictures up, I would say that there is a good chance that you were engaging. Like, I don't think many people would just leave that up there for a validation hit. However, it could be the case. But
yeah,
the
I
thing
think
is,
I disagree. I do not disagree in neither way. I'm just saying I think it's equally could be a curiosity. If you were that curious and you hadn't dabbled in it yet, that's the way you'd look, right? You'd put a photo up and you'd be like, let's look what's out there. Let's see if anyone's interested. Let's dabble. Like, I think it could be just as much that he's engaging as much as it is that he's looking.
yeah, but my worry though for this is like, I don't think that you can completely trust, unfortunately, him saying what he says. I think at this point, this is the problem that you have. You cannot trust if he turns around and says, hey, I just looked, I only made the profile last week. You need the proof, unfortunately. And it puts you in a really uncomfortable situation of being like, hey, I want to have this conversation. I'm open to hearing what it is that you say back to me, but I also need you to prove it because I need to know what has happened here and I need to know the truth. And that I think is going to be an incredibly hard conversation to navigate because if he is defensive, if he won't provide you with that proof, then I think it's going to be very hard for you to move forward believing what it is and really understanding like what's happened here.
And a lot of these profiles, so, you know, I don't know about this profile specifically, but a lot of these kind of stuff have like information about your profile in terms of member since 2020, or like a lot of them will have the time you signed up.
I wonder if I can find one. Just let me see if I can find it.
Laura's is on the hunt right now. She's signing up to a Sniffies account.
I'm trying to see what it looks like. To be fair, it's actually really hard to even find a photo of what a Sniffies
so it's quite private.
Profile looks like. It actually, the only things I can find is that it shows up a bit of a map. So basically you can pop in your location and then pinged around the map, like different locations, are the photos of the people who are looking to cruise. So it looks to me like it's a very active site. It doesn't look to me like you do it with the intention of trying to like organize, okay, we're going to hook up tomorrow or in a week's time. It looks like it's very instantaneous, which also means there's not a lot of paper trail with this type of stuff. If you're quite happy to just jump on there and see that there's, 20 people or 20 people in your area who want to fuck, you can just easily pick one and then go and do it. So
I've got the Sniffies information account here. It's like, it's got tabs, my profile, account settings. So you can definitely go into your account settings, vanilla mode, night mode. You can add a place, host a group. You can change your location to random, bigger or less. So I would think that after it's got account settings and my profile tabs, that you would be able to go in and just check out the level of the profile. There are filters that you fill out that are age, position, so like tops, bottoms. And then there's a tab that says endowment, and you can add 8 to 11 inches, uncut or cut. You're literally saying what you are, body type, and then spectrum in terms of gay, bi, trans, non-binary, you can fill out all of those. So if you can 100% go to his profile and see what he has filled out and how much detail he's got by the looks of what we've seen.
Look, I'm so sorry that you're going through this.
Yeah, it's hard,
I
man.
honestly, please give us an update because this is going to be such a huge and ongoing part of your life. And I think that you've just reached the tip of the iceberg. The only thing I really want to reiterate, and I know I've already said it, is like, do not limit yourself from getting the help you need because you feel shame about this or because you feel as though this is a secret that you need to protect. You have to have support around you and the absolute best advice. And in this instance, I think that that's going to come from a counselor, from a therapist, from somebody who can help you navigate what is going to be a fucking really hard time. All right, last question. When should I start maternity leave? This one is for you, Laura. Don't ask me. I didn't take maternity leave. It was a terrible time in life.
This one's more, you didn't take it, but it's an opinion-based piece.
Okay, an opinion piece on maternity leave. I am due to have a baby boy in August, and I'm currently talking with my partner and employer about when I should finish up my full-time role. For context, I will be 36 weeks by the 27th of July. As you would know, I could go into labor anytime from then. Should I work closer to my due date as I would be robbing myself of practically another full month's pay? Or do I need to take more time off as I need to get ready and rest before this big change? For context, I do not have a physically demanding job, but I am on the road traveling via car, in and out of meetings. Do I take extra time off and say, fuck the money, as it's my last solo moments to myself? Or should I work as close up to my due date as possible for the good money? P.S. My partner will be supporting me on mat leave financially. I think also what this means is maybe she's got a specific amount of time off. Say it's 8 months. So if she takes a month off pre-pregnancy, like pre-birth, then it means she loses a month at the end of her maternity leave when she actually has the baby in the world.
Yeah, she's trying to decide if it's more important to take a few weeks before to yourself to get ready before your life changes forever. Or is the 3 weeks extra money going to be the bigger thing at the end? I guess it's one of those things where you can only answer. Obviously, my answer is it depends how you are financially, obviously. But you've said your partner's going to support you financially. It seems like that's not the issue. Having not had a baby, but knowing a lot of people that do, I want to lean towards if you financially are okay, I would take this time now, the last 3 weeks, to get some sleep, relax, do anything you want to do, get set up, get completely sorted, because you will never have you time again.
That's so interesting you say that. I think it is, this
But I
is
haven't had a
such
kid.
an individual thing. It is so individual. No two people will feel the same about this. There will be people who have lots of time off pre having the baby and probably get to a point where they're like, oh, I didn't really need to have this much time off. I could have gone to work. There will be people who are so deeply uncomfortable in their last trimester of pregnancy that they literally have to have the time off work because they can't get to work and can't function at work anymore.
And sometimes mentally too.
I think it is completely personal. My preference has always been to work up until having the baby, and I have never had time off prior. It's tricky for me because I run my own businesses. So if I'm not doing the work, no one is. That's not me trying to wear my knight in shining armor. Like, I'm not trying to be a fucking superhero. It's just an unfortunate reality of what it is when you are someone who's trying to do everything and all of it at the same time.
But having done it, hypothetically, you know what it's been like. Pretend you don't have your own business and you're just working a 9 to 5 or something, Laws. And now that you know what it's like being pregnant and then having the baby in that first 6 months, what do you think would be more important? Those extra weeks with your baby before you go back paid, or the couple of weeks before to prep yourself?
I would have preferred more time off postpartum.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Great answer.
For me, postpartum is the time when I absolutely want to have time where I'm not working.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be the case either, but it's when I would prefer to have it. However, I think the reason why it's such a tricky one is, so for example, with me, Marley went over by the full 2 weeks. She was induced. I had her the very last day that medically they would allow me to stay pregnant. Basically they were like, you're coming in and we're getting this baby out. There's all these complications that increase the longer you go over, with the placenta not being as healthy and potentially the placenta dying. Yeah. So Marley was 42 weeks and 1 day and I was induced. Had I taken off 2 weeks prior, I would have had a month off prior to having her. For me, that would have been too much time. I would have been sitting around the house by myself, pregnant and not able to do anything and probably just watching Netflix. So it actually was good for me to keep working and keep exercising and keep doing everything. But like I said, everyone is just so different. And then when I had Lola, I had a lot of pain and I was really uncomfortable when I was like at the end of my pregnancy. I would have cherished a bit of time off prior, but I wasn't able to have it. So for me, I think mine comes down to more a physicality. I understand though for you, it's around income and it's around money. And I think maybe just have a think about if you're totally fine financially and you feel as though you need to have that time off to go and pamper yourself, to spend some time just focusing on you.
Don't feel guilty.
Then don't feel guilty. That's the big thing. Like don't feel as though you have to show up for anybody else than yourself in these last few weeks. However, if the financial side is going to put some strain on you, it's going to cause some unnecessary stress, you are feeling okay and you can still go to work, you're not going to miss out on anything necessarily by still working your 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
And I would say, you said that your work requires a lot of travel, driving around, in and out of meetings, etc. You can ask to scale back the type of work you're doing rather than just not working at all. So you can say, I'm 37 weeks pregnant. I'm not going to be able to be in the car for long hours and do this and do that. So you should be able to have those conversations with your employer rather than it just being, I work at full capacity and then I'm on maternity leave. So I think that that's an important thing as well.
The only other thing I see from like my friends and family and stuff, or even just, the generic online consensus, my Instagram feed that feeds me stuff, is a lot of women that are really upset when they have to go back to work and leave their child. They wish they had a little bit longer with their baby. And I know the other side of that is the fact that people can't wait to go back to work. There's a lot of people that are like, I'm ready to go back, use my brain a bit more, talk to adults, have a different kind of interaction in their day than just being at home. But
everyone's different.
A lot of women are like, I'm not ready to put my baby in daycare or whatever it is. So I guess you've just got to think of what is your absolute priority, but there is no right or wrong.
When I think about like my pregnancies and my maternity leaves and whatnot, and I do feel for anybody who runs their own businesses and who has a lifestyle that's set up in a way that is just not conducive for being pregnant or having babies, because it is really, really hard. And it's something that I look back on. And although there's no other option in terms of it, it's like, I don't think I gave myself credit for just how challenging that was. And to give reference to what I'm talking about. So I was still on emails and working when I was in labor having Lola, and I was still doing the same with Marley.
I was literally on the phone to Laura being like, I'm hanging up because I'm refusing to have a conversation with you while you're in labor. And you're like, it's fine. I don't feel anything. And I'm like, I don't care. Go and have a pregnancy and a labor without working.
I got an email from you. I hadn't even met you in person. This is when I first started working for you. I'd had maybe 2 or 3 phone calls with you. And it was Laura sending me audio. She said something along the lines of, hey, hon, this. Just letting you know, I'm in labor, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what do you mean you're emailing me? And she wrote back to me and she's like, don't worry, I've had an epidural.
Yeah, she's like, it's fine, I don't feel anything.
Yeah, and when I say I was in labor, I don't mean early stages of labor. I was in the hospital bed with an epidural in my back. I am not saying this because it's like a badge of honor. I actually really realize how deeply disturbing and wrong it is, because I think it adds to the narrative that women can do everything and should do everything and just keep working, be a boss,
you absolutely shouldn't
have
be
a baby
as you're birthing.
But it wasn't at the time something that I could just switch off from, because I kind of still had this fear of well, then who's going to do it? How's it going to get done? I went back to work with Tony May with Lola. I was 13 days postpartum and I was out on the rock platform in Bondi with her strapped to me doing a photo shoot, directing a photo shoot. And I had this really surreal moment where I was standing there and I was like, this is fucked.
Yeah, what
this
am I
is
doing?
Absolutely fucking cooked. I cannot believe that I'm doing this. But then at the same time, we were just too much of a small business for anyone else to do it at that time. And I feel really grateful now because, if we have a third baby, I'm at a point where the businesses are bigger and so I'm able to help and get support. But for anyone who's trying to do everything at the same time, not everyone has the luxury of the idea of maternity leave. And I really resonate with it. And it's not a superpower. It's just awful. It's really awful.
Got to do at the end of the day what's right for you. It also depends a lot on your partner's financial situation, how much he is going to be there to contribute. Is he working away, 12 hours, 13 hours a day, or is he going to be home a lot? All these questions. But either way, it's impossible for us to say other than write down what your priority is right now and what you think your priority will be, and then just make the decision.
Yeah. The last thing I want to add, and this is you might not need 3 weeks. You might just need a couple of days, which are self-care days, which you're able to scale back. Maybe you work 4 days a week and you take 3 days and your Monday for the next couple of weeks is just a day to you. Like that's something that could maybe satiate and satisfy that need to have more solo time, but it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice a full month's worth of salary.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it from us, guys. If you've got any questions for Ask Uncut, please send them on in. We are also, I need aftermaths from today's episode.
We need them from all the episodes, but today's one particularly.
Yeah, we actually do have quite a few collated. I think it is almost time for an aftermath. We've been teasing it for a good 2 years now, so it's probably due.
Please write in. It's up. We can only aftermath if you guys send us in what actually happened. So please make the effort to do that. We genuinely love them.
If you want to leave us a review or join in the conversation, you can go onto Spotify, leave a comment after the episodes in the comment section. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts and also join the conversation on YouTube. And you know the drill.
Tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love because
we love love.